Hi guys, good evening. Today we again have Navneet, and today he will talk about some complex problems, situations, and then we will have an open house around 1 hour from now. And in that, you are free to ask questions, and he will try his best to answer those questions. And maybe depending on the question, he may want to park that question, but feel free and utilize that time to ask any question. But at the same time, when we are running the session for next 1 hour, please focus your questions to the topic which are discussed. Okay, so over to you, Navneet.
Okay, thank you so much, Piyush. A very good evening to one and all present in this webinar. A very good evening. In continuation with the yesterday's session, today we are going to discuss some of the complex issue of the GST law. And today what we are going to discuss is place of supply of goods and services. See, kindly try and understand what yesterday we have discussed, just a small background of that, just to have a link. And I think my internet connection is not that much good. So I'm just putting my video off and my voice would be there. And you probably would be able to see my screen I have shared with you. So I am putting my video off right now. Fine. So, so what we have discussed yesterday is the basic concepts of the GST law. What does it mean? Like why GST has been implemented? What was the shortcoming in the earlier system? Why GST has been brought in? What is CGST? What is SGST? What is IGST? All these concepts we have discussed in the yesterday's session. Today, what we are going to discuss is the place of supply of goods and services. Yesterday, one very peculiar topic we have discussed, that is GST is a consumption-based destination tax. That means tax will be given to the state where the consumption is taking place. If consumption is taking place in state A, the tax will be given to state A only, regardless where that good is being manufactured, regardless from where that service is being provided. So ultimate concept is that it is a destination based consumption tax. So in a broader way, we can understand it like this. If there is an intra-state supply, within the state supply, the CGST and SGST has to be charged. If it is interstate supply, then IGST has to be charged. Now, for determining whether CGST, SGST is to be charged or whether IGST is to be charged, there are two very basic parameters which we need to understand. See, whether a supply is intrastate supply or whether a supply is interstate supply, for determining this concept, we need to understand two concepts very carefully. What are these two concepts? What they say, as far as GST law is concerned, they say what is the location of supplier and what is the place of supply. Kindly mark these two words. First is location of supplier and second is the place of supply. If location of supplier and the place of supply is in the same state, so in that case, it is an intrastate supply. But if the location of supplier and the place of supply both are in different state, so in that case, it will be interstate supply and IGST has to be charged. So I'm just repeating my words. What is the parameter to determine whether CGST, SGST is to be charged or whether IGST is to be charged? So the concept is, for charging of CGST and SGST, intrastate supply must be there. And when we can say that this supply is intrastate supply, we can say a particular supply to be intrastate only and only when the location of supplier and the place of supply belongs to the same state. If location of supplier and the place of supply are in different states, we can say it is an interstate supply and IGST has to be charged. So this is the very basic concept. So now we need to understand these two concepts, that is location of supplier and place of supply. Location of supplier, what we understand is from where the goods are being supplied and who is the supplier of the goods, that is the location of supplier. So that location of supplier is quite a easy concept. Today we are going to concentrate on the place of supply concept. place of supply in respect of goods, and place of supply in respect of services. Before I move further, I just want to clarify one thing, that whatever presentation I am presenting before you all is not prepared by me. It is prepared by the Indirect Taxes Committee of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. So this is not my property. I am just using it, giving credit to the Indirect Taxes Committee of ICAI. So moving ahead with our concept, that is place of supply of goods and place of supply of services. These concept of place of supply of goods and services have been given under section 10, 11, 12 and 13 of the IGST Act. Kindly note it. There are 4 sections in the IGST Act. So whatever we are going to discuss right now is written under Integrated Goods and Service Tax Act. Yesterday also we have discussed this particular point, that the IGST Act is having only 26 sections. Out of those 26 sections, these 4 sections we are going to learn today. So in respect of place of supply, what we are trying to understand is section 10, 11, 12, 13. These 4 sections belongs to the place of supply. Now, see, we are going to understand the Goods and Service Tax Act. So there are specific provisions which have been dedicated to goods. There are certain provisions which are dedicated to the services. So likewise, under IGST Act, section 10, section 11 are dedicated to the goods, and section 12 and 13 are dedicated to the services. So as far as place of supply in respect of goods are concerned, we need to look at section number 10 and section number 11 of the IGST Act. Similarly, when we go to the services part, we need to understand the provisions of section 12 and section 13. So for each, for goods and services, 2 sections for goods and 2 sections for services. So this is how the law will move on. Whenever you are struggling with finding out place of supply in respect of goods, you need to find out section 10 or section 11. When you are struggling to find out the place of supply in respect of services, you need to go to the section 12 and 13. So these are the 4 sections which we are going to discuss today. Now, moving ahead with this particular background. So when we are going to talk about goods, 2 sections are there, section 10 and section 11. What section talks of and what section 11 talks of? Let us try and understand. Section 10 deals with the goods other than supply of goods imported into or exported from India. Other than import or export, if you are trying to find out the place of supply in respect of any goods, you need to look at section number 10. But if your goods are being imported or being exported, so in that case, the place of supply will be determined by the provisions of section 11 of the IGST Act. So kindly mark this thing, that which section is applicable on your transaction. So the thing is that I'm getting some raising of hand. So I'll take all these questions once I take a pause. And so right now we are not hindering any, the flow of the deliberation. So all these questions you just put it on in your chat box, and I'll respond all these questions. Fine. So now what I'm trying to make you understand is section 10 and section 11 are there. Section 10 talks about goods other than supply of goods in respect of import or export, and section 11 talks about goods imported into or exported from India. So these are 2 sections, and similarly 2 sections are dedicated for services. So again, the same concept is there in respect of services as well. Services where the location of supplier and recipient is in India, so section 12 will be applicable. And services where the location of supplier or the location of recipient is outside India, any one of them, recipient or the supplier, is outside India, then section 13 will be applicable. So this is the entire scheme of the law. This is how the IGST Act has been drafted. So just move ahead with provisions of section 10. Sorry. So I am discussing the provision of section 10 right now. So what section 10 of IGST says? Kindly try and understand. Section 10 talks about determination of place of supply in respect of goods other than import and export. So apart from take that international transaction outside from the purview of section 10, if it is domestic transaction, then place of supply in respect of goods will be determined by section 10 itself. Section 10 is having basically 5 sub-clauses. Section 10 subsection 1 is having 5 sub-clauses. What these 5 sub-clauses says, let us try and understand. Let us take all these clauses one by one. First, where the supply involves movement of goods. What we are discussing right now is that, just a minute. Now, section 10 subsection 1 clause A talks about the supply involves movement of goods. See, there are different situations in respect of which the place of supply has to be determined. So let us first take the example where the supply is involving movement of goods, which is true in 90% of the cases. Like, I am purchasing any goods from you, you are sitting in the state of Telangana or Andhra Pradesh, I am sitting in the state of Delhi. If I am purchasing any goods, you will have to send goods to me, or I have to carry out that goods. So in that particular scenario, if the movement of goods is taking place, then the place of supply shall be determined as per the provision of section 10 subsection 1 clause A. So place where the supply involves movement of goods, so location of goods at the time of movement terminates for the delivery to the recipient. So in that case, in the case where the where the movement is involved, the movement of good is involved, so place of supply shall be the place where the delivery is being terminated to the recipient. So kindly understand the concept of this particular thing. Uh, you are sitting in the state of Telangana, I am sitting at the state of Delhi. So when the goods are being moved from the state of Telangana to Delhi, so there could be multiple sort of arrangement. The thing is that where the delivery is being terminated, means if the goods are moving from the state of Telangana and delivery is being terminated in the state of Delhi, so in that place of supply shall be the state of Delhi. So in that particular case, since the location of supplier is the state of Telangana and the place of supply is the state of Delhi, since both the things, location of supplier and the place of supply, are in different states, hence this transaction would attract the provisions of IGST, and this transaction IGST will be charged. So the thing is that the location of goods at the time at which the movement terminates for the delivery to the recipient. Now, this is the thing. Second, when you will read the actual section of this section 10 subsection 1 clause A, it says that whosoever is carrying the goods to the recipient, that doesn't matter. What does it mean? Say, for example, I am the recipient, you are the supplier, and you are sitting in the state of Telangana, and you arrange one transporter and you hand over all the goods in the state of Telangana itself, and from Telangana, goods are being moved from Telangana to Delhi. So you say that I have given these goods to the transporter for delivery at your place. So in my case, will the place of supply would become the state of Telangana? So answer is big no in this particular case. The law is very much clear where the delivery is being terminated to the recipient. So ultimately, where the goods are being moved, if the goods are being moved to the state of Delhi, so in that particular case, uh, uh, the place of supply shall be the state of Delhi itself. So in that case, if the location of supply is in a different state and the place of supply is in the different state, it would attract the provisions of IGST. On this transaction, IGST has to be charged. This would be considered as interstate transaction. Moving ahead, this is very relevant. Section 10, subsection 1, clause B. This is called, in common language, we understand this particular arrangement as bill to ship to transaction. What does it mean, bill to ship to? Goods supplied on the direction of the third person. Meaning thereby, if I am the person, let us take this example through a particular animated sort of things. Fine. This is 10 subsection 1 clause B we are talking of. This is called bill to ship to transaction. How it happens? Let us just have a view on this. There is Mr. A, the third party is situated in Delhi. They have given instruction to the supplier in UP, Mr. B, to deliver goods to the recipient in the state of Punjab. So the example is like that. I am the person sitting at Delhi. I have given instruction to the supplier sitting at UP that these goods are to be delivered to the state of Punjab. So one thing is very much clear that in the all three parties to this particular transaction are in different states, so it would attract IGST. But the thing is that what shall be the place of supply in this particular case? So section 10 subsection 1 clause B says on whose instruction the goods are being transported from one state to another, the place of supply shall be the place where the third party is located. What does it mean? In this particular case, what is happening, that the party who is giving instruction is located in the state of Delhi. What does it mean? It is situated in Delhi. So in that case, place of supply shall be the state of Delhi. So one question comes to our mind that when when the goods are not entering into a state of Delhi, how the place of supply would become Delhi? But the law is like this only. So what they are saying, the place of supply shall be the place where the person giving instruction is located. So if that person is located in the state of Delhi, so in that case, place of supply in this entire case would be the state of Delhi. So kindly try and understand this particular example. The supplier is located in Uttar Pradesh. He is delivering goods to Punjab. Goods are being moved from the state of Uttar Pradesh to the Punjab on the instruction of the party located in the state of Delhi. So in this particular case, the place of supply shall be the place where the person giving instruction is located. So that person is located in the state of Delhi. Henceforth, this particular transaction, the place of supply shall be the state of Delhi. So place of supply shall be Delhi, and the place of supplier, location of supplier is Uttar Pradesh. Both are in different state. IGST has to be charged. Let us take another example in this particular situation. We are at section 10 subsection 1 clause B itself. Again, I am A. I am located in the state of Delhi. My supplier is in the state of UP. Now the good is being delivered in the state of Uttar Pradesh. So kindly try and understand. I am sitting at Delhi. There is supplier of one goods who is located in the state of Uttar Pradesh. I have given instruction to him that good has to be delivered to the state of Uttar Pradesh itself. So in this particular case, goods are being moved from the state of Uttar Pradesh to the state of Uttar Pradesh itself. Now, but the person who is giving instruction is located in the state of Delhi. So in this particular case, this is called bill to ship to transaction. So in that case, where the person who is giving instruction is located, so the location of that person would be considered as place of supply. So again, in this case, the place of supply shall be the state of Delhi, and the location of supply shall be the state of Uttar Pradesh. Since both belongs to the different state, hence in this case, again IGST would be charged, despite of the fact that the goods are being moved from the state of Uttar Pradesh to state of Uttar Pradesh. Why? Because it is a bill to ship to transaction, and goods are being moved on the direction of some other person, and that other person is located outside the state, from the state in which the supplier is located. So this is section 10 subsection 1 clause B, another example of this particular section. So I think with these three transactions, all the concepts related to bill to ship to transaction would be clear. Now again, I am A and I am located in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Now my supplier is again located in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Now on my instruction, the supplier Mr. B, who is located in the state of Uttar Pradesh, is moving goods to the Punjab. So what my example is, I am A, I am giving instruction, I am located in the state of Uttar Pradesh. My supplier is also located in the state of Uttar Pradesh. I am giving instruction to my supplier that you have to move goods from the Uttar Pradesh to Punjab. So in this particular case, goods are being moved from the state of Uttar Pradesh to the state of Punjab on my instruction. Now, kindly try and understand, here the place of supply shall be state of Uttar Pradesh. Why Uttar Pradesh? Because the person who is giving instruction to the supplier is located in the state of Uttar Pradesh. So section 10 subsection 1 clause B says what shall be the place of supply in case of this bill to ship to transaction? So if that third person is located in the state of Uttar Pradesh, so in that case, the place of supply shall be Uttar Pradesh. Now, what is the location of supplier in this particular case? Location of supplier is again Uttar Pradesh. Since both belong to the same state, hence this transaction would charge CGST and SGST. This would be considered as intra-state supply of goods. So this is the very, very crucial concept, and we need to understand it very, very carefully, that in case of bill to ship to transaction, where the third person gives instructions to the supplier, so place of supply shall be the place where the person giving instruction is located. So this is how the section 10 subsection 1 clause B works. So this is the system how this entire thing works. So again, I'm coming to the original slide. I'm going back. Fine. So what we have discussed till now is that section 10 subsection 1 clause A, section 10 subsection 1 clause B we have discussed, that is bill to ship to transaction in a normal language. Now let's come to another thing, that is section 10 subsection 1 clause C. Section 10 subsection 1 clause C, let us just try and understand this concept. Where the supply doesn't involve movement of goods. In some of the cases, what happens in respect of the goods whose cost is very less, but the transportation cost is much higher. Like in case of stones, or we can say aggregate, sand or salt. These are the goods in respect of which the value of goods are very, very less. However, the cost of transportation is very high. So in that particular case, what happens? Generally, the supply is made without movement of goods. So wherever the sand is lying, wherever the aggregate is lying, wherever salt is lying, the goods are being sold then and there only. The movement of good doesn't involve. So in that case, what shall be the place of supply in case where the movement doesn't involve? So if the movement doesn't involve, then what would be the case? So location of the goods at the time of the delivery to the recipient. So in that particular case, if the movement of good is not there, so in that case, the place of supply shall be the place where the goods are lying. If it is lying in any particular location, that shall be the place of supply. And the location of supplier, if both belongs to the same state, yes, it is intra-state supply, CGST, SGST has to be charged. If the location of supplier is in different state and the place of supply, that means the location of goods at the time of delivery to the recipient is in different state. So in that case, it is interstate supply of goods and IGST would be charged. So that is the case of section 10 subsection 1 clause C. Now let's move to fourth one, that is section 10 subsection 1 clause G. There are some sort of goods in respect of which assembling is required. We can take a very, very famous example in respect of this, like in respect of air conditioner. I have purchased one air conditioner which has to be installed at my office. So in that case, this is the case where the assembly is required or installation is required. So in that case, what shall be the place of supply? So in this particular case, the place of supply shall be the place where the installation or assembly is being done. So in case of big factories, if the plant or machinery we have purchased, and plant and machinery has to be installed at the factory premises, so in the place of supply shall be the place where the this installation or assembly has to be done. So installation or assembly has to be done in the particular state. That shall be the place of supply. And according to the location of supplier, the interstate or intrastate supply will be determined. So this is what section 10 subsection 1 clause D says. Again, section 10 subsection 1 clause E, what does it say? Try and understand. Goods supplied on board or conveyance. Fine. Yesterday also there was a question regarding this particular situation. So on board supply of goods we are talking of, section 10 subsection 1 clause E talks about a situation in respect of the goods which is being supplied on board. So for example, you are taking a flight from Delhi to Mumbai. Now that flight has come from Chennai. The flight has come from Chennai to Delhi and now Delhi to Mumbai. So in that case, what they are saying in respect of the goods which are supplied on board. On board means a passenger who embarks his journey from Delhi to Mumbai, and during that journey he has purchased one sunglasses on board. but that sunglasses was boarded on that flight from the state of Chennai. So I'm just repeating my example. There was a stock of sunglasses which have been kept on the board of that flight in the state of Chennai, in the state of Tamil Nadu, from the airport of Chennai. And now from Chennai, that flight has come to Delhi. One passenger boarded on that flight from Delhi to Mumbai. Between this journey from Delhi to Mumbai, the passenger has bought that sunglasses from the flight attendant. Now, in this particular case, what shall be the place of supply? So section 10 subsection 1 clause E defines this particular situation, and it says the place of supply shall be the location at which such goods are taken on board, meaning thereby the passenger has been boarded from the Delhi itself. From Delhi to Mumbai, he has bought that sunglasses, but the place of supply shall be the state of Tamil Nadu, that is Chennai. Why? Because the goods are boarded on that particular flight in the state of Tamil Nadu, section 10 subsection 1 clause E. So similarly is the example in respect of trains also. Similarly, example we can take of any train, like train has started from Chennai and then it reaches to Delhi, and from Delhi it is reaching to, say for example, Amritsar. So the passenger who has boarded from Delhi to Amritsar, and during that journey he has bought some sunglasses which has been boarded on the train from Chennai. So in that case, place of supply shall always remain the place where the goods are boarded on the particular conveyance. So this is how the place of supply has to be determined in this particular situation. So section 10 subsection 1, there are 5 clauses. Let me just repeat it very quickly. 10 subsection 1 clause A talks about where the goods involve movement, where the supply involves movement of goods. So the place of supply shall be the place where the delivery is being terminated. Second, section 10 subsection 1 clause B, bill to ship to transaction. The place of supply shall be the place where the person is giving instruction is located. So that person would be there. Section 10 subsection 1 clause C talks about where the good supply doesn't involve movement of goods. So in that case, the location of goods shall be the place of supply. Section 10 subsection 1 clause D, where the goods requires assembly or installation, so the place where the assembly or installation is done. Section 10 subsection 1 clause E talks about location at which such goods are taken on board. So in respect of these 5 situations, I don't think any of the situation would be left out in this particular case. So how these place of supply in respect of goods other than import and export will be determined is governed by this particular case. So just moving ahead, we have discussed all these provisions. So I have given you example in a greater length. So I don't think these slides are of any use. So that would not be required. So we have taken all these provisions. So with this section 10, I have explained, and I'll take questions related to that after the end of the session. So let me just move to section 11. So now we just move towards section 11, and what section 11 says, let us try and understand. Now, section 11 talks about place of supply of goods under section 11 of IGST Act. This section defines the place of supply in respect of importation or exportation of goods. Like whenever the import or export takes place, that section 10 will not come into the picture. Section 11 will have to be there. So what section 11 says? Section 11 says in respect of import and in respect of export. Kindly understand this concept very again. Yesterday also we have discussed that the GST is destination based consumption tax. So wherever the consumption would take place, the tax would be given to that particular territory. So in respect of export, kindly try and understand that concept. In respect of export, the goods are being consumed outside India. So in that case, as per the concept, since the goods are being consumed outside India, government of India doesn't have authority to collect tax on that particular thing. That is why on exportation, that tax is not collected. See, that is a different concept, that export is, it is a zero rated supplier, or export is the area which government wants to promote and all these things. But the actual fact is that since you are saying that GST is a destination based consumption tax, so in that particular scenario, if the consumption is taking place outside the territory of India, so in that case, how can you collect the tax on that? So that is why for all the exports, the tax could not be collected. Hence, it is considered to be a zero rated supply, and all these export incentives are allowed. So one concept is very much clear in respect of export of goods. If the goods are being consumed outside India, it is located outside India. Since it is located outside India, GST law doesn't extend outside India. It is applicable to India only. So in that particular scenario, the location is outside India. So in that case, that is there. Yes, but in respect of goods imported into India. So, say for example, we are importing goods. The lot many export is being done by India from various other countries. So goods are being imported into India. So in that case, what shall be the place of supply? So, the person who is located in the state of Maharashtra is importing certain goods from Dubai. So the person who is located in the state of Maharashtra importing certain goods from Dubai. So in that case, it is chargeable to tax, and the tax will be given to the state where the importer is located. So this is the particular concept. The location of importer shall be the place of supply in case of goods being imported. And one very good concept you might be knowing, or if not knowing, I'll just explain it. Whenever you import certain sort of goods, so in that case, before custom clearance, you need to pay IGST on that as per Customs Act. Customs Act requires you to pay the IGST on that particular transaction before its clearance. What does it mean? Because if the same good is being manufactured in the state in India, and the same good is being imported from outside India, so the goods which is manufactured in India would suffer the IGST. However, the goods which is coming from outside India, it hasn't suffered any sort of tax, because the country from which that goods is being coming, so for that particular country, it is an export transaction. So for export, almost in all the countries, taxation is not there. So to equate both the transactions, like the goods which are being manufactured in India versus the goods which are being imported, to equate the things, they have made a provision in the Customs Tariff Act to levy a IGST on that particular transaction. So in respect of goods being imported in India, the place of supply shall be the location of importer, wherever the location, the importer is located. So this is how this particular transaction works. So in respect of export of goods, the place of supply shall be location outside India. Since the location is outside India, GST law doesn't extend to that particular country or outside the territory of India. So in that case, nothing doing. So in that case, the tax is not leviable. However, it is a zero rated supply, and some sort of export incentives are being given. So those export incentives you are eligible for, and you can enjoy those benefits. So these are the provisions of Section 11 of the IGST Act, which talks about the place of supply in respect of goods imported into or exported from India. So basically, we need to understand the four sections. That is Section 10, Section 11, Section 12, Section 13. So Section 10 and 11 talks about supply in respect of goods. So that we have understood right now. So let us move to section number 12. 12 and 13. So in respect of goods, whatever we need to understand, we have completed that particular transaction. Sorry. Now let's come to section 12. Section 12 talks about place of supply of service where the location of supplier and the location of recipient both are in India. So what we are going to understand is Section 12 determines the place of supply of service in respect of where the location of supplier and the location of recipient both are located in India. If any of them is outside India, then Section 13 will come into the picture. So in a simple language, we can understand it like this. If it is a domestic transaction, Section 12 will be applicable. If it is international transaction, to import or export are involved, then Section 13 will come into the picture. So let us try and understand Section 12 first. What Section 12 says? Section 12 talks about the determination of place of supply of services. So how section 12 has been drafted, kindly try and understand this thing. There are total 14 subsection to section 12. Section 12 is having 14 subsections. So out of these 14 subsections, what is the scheme of the law, how it has been drafted, kindly try and understand it. They have, under section 12 subsection 2, they have made a generic rule. Generic rule means which will be applicable in respect of cases which are not defined under any of the subsequent clauses. That means from section 12 subsection 3 to section 12 subsection 14, they have picked up the particular industry, and in respect of each and every industry, they have made a provision. So if you are falling under any of the specific clauses of section 12, then your place of supply will be determined according to those respective subsections. But if you are not falling under any of the subclauses of section 12, the generic rule which will apply on you, that is under section 12 subsection 2. So kindly understand the scheme of the law, kindly understand how the section 12 has been defined. So section 12 subsection 2 gives you a general rule. So general rule will be applicable only in the cases where the specific provisions are not made. And specific provisions are made from section 12 subsection 3 to section 12 subsection 14. So in this particular background, let us try and understand what is the general rule which shall be applicable in all the cases. So for each and every case, you need to have understanding that in respect of what transaction, in respect of what transaction, the specific provisions have been made. If specific provisions are there, you need not to go for generic rule. But yes, if the specific provision is not there in respect of any sort of services, so in that case, section 12 subsection 2, you will have to resort. So this is the index I have given. So, but let us try and understand all these provisions one by one. So first I am explaining section 12 subsection 2, which is a generic rule. Generic rule means the rules which is going to be applicable in respect of the situations which are not covered by section 12 subsection 3 to section 12 subsection 14. Fine. What this generic rule says? Generic rule says where the see, again, there are two things. One is the location of supplier, and second is the location of recipient. Now, what section 12 subsection 2 says, if the services are being provided to the recipient who is registered under GST law. See, what could be the situation? See, being chartered accountant, if my office is located in the state of Delhi and someone comes to me from the Gurgaon and ask for certain consultancy. So when he comes to me and asks for certain consultancy, I give him consultancy. I offer him a tea, a cup of tea, and I charge, say for example, 50,000 rupees for my services. So in that case, what shall be the place of supply in this particular example? So in this particular case, the place of supply shall depend on different other situations. The first situation is that whether my recipient is registered. If yes, if the person who is coming from Gurgaon to me at my office located in Delhi, if he is registered person, so in that case, place of supply shall be the location of recipient. Interestingly, you have to understand this particular case, that the person who is coming from the state of Haryana to state of Delhi, he's sitting in my office in the state of Delhi, the electricity is being consumed in the state of Delhi, the tea which I have offered to him is consumed in the state of Delhi, but the place of supply shall be the state of Haryana. Why? Because section 12 subsection 2 clause A says if the recipient is registered, so in that place of supply shall be the place where the recipient is registered. So in this particular case, if the person who is coming from Gurgaon, so if he is registered person, so in that case, whatever amount I'll charge to him, it will be taxable at IGST, because my location of supplier, I am located in the state of Delhi, and the place of supply shall become the place of the state of Haryana. Both are in different state. This transaction would attract IGST, integrated goods and services. Now, let us change this example. Let's come to section 12 subsection 2 clause B. Again, in this particular example, the person who is coming from Gurgaon to Delhi is not registered person. He is unregistered recipient. He's saying, sir, I'm just starting my business. Right now, I'm not registered. I am planning to get myself registered. So in that case, what will happen? So in that case, I have to ask him, sir, what is your address? If he say ki, this is my address and it belongs to the state of Haryana, Gurgaon. So in that case, if that address is in my record, so in that case, place of supply shall be the place of the address of that recipient. So location of that recipient, if the address is there in the supplier's record. So although he is unregistered person, then also if he is providing me an address that belongs to the state other than the state in which I am located. So in that case, the place of supply shall be the place of that particular unregistered recipient. So in that case also, although he is not registered person, then also the place of supply shall be the place of his residence or place of the address he has given to me, the unregistered person. Now, consider another situation. When that person came to me, I asked him, sir, are you registered? He said, no. I asked him, what is your address, sir? He said, I don't want to disclose my address to you. So probably, yes, he might not be willing to disclose his address. So if he is not willing to disclose his address, so in that case, what shall be the place of supply? So section 12 subsection 2 covers this situation also. So in that case, section 12 subsection 2 says the location of supplier if address is not available. What does it mean? I am sitting in the state of Delhi. The person who is coming from somewhere, I don't know what is his address. He is not registered person. I have asked him to tell me the address from where he is coming. He denied. He is not willing to disclose his address. So in that particular situation, the provision says the location of supplier shall be the place of supply. That means my location would become the place of supply. So in that case, the location of supplier is the state of Delhi. And because of this provision, the place of supply would also become the location of supplier. It is in the same state. So in that case, I have to pay tax on it as CGST and SGST. So this is how this particular provision will work. So this is the generic rule in respect of services. So section 12 subsection 2 gives three situations. If the recipient is registered, so place of supply shall be the place where he is registered. If the recipient is not registered, so in that case, place of supply shall be the address of that unregistered person. If address is not available in the supplier's record, so in that case, place of supply shall be the location of supplier. Let me just give you an example of this particular case. In respect of restaurant service, the person who is coming from elsewhere consume certain meals, consume some food articles in any sort of restaurant in the state of Delhi. A restaurant is a service. Now the person who is coming in and going out and paying the bill, the restaurant owner will not ask him the address or will not ask whether you are registered or not or from where you are coming. So in that particular case, which clause will be applicable? So in this case, this third clause will be helpful. Like the services are being provided by the restaurant to someone who is registered or not, the restaurant doesn't know. From where that customer has come, the restaurant doesn't know. So in that particular case, the location of supplier, if address is not available, so in that case, it will be CGST and SGST transaction. So this is how you can understand this particular scenario. So let us move further. So this is the generic rule which we have understood, section 12, subsection 2. Now, moving ahead with the specific provisions. The specific provisions are contained from section 12, subsection 3 to section 12, subsection 14. So let us take all these examples one by one. First, section 12, subsection 3 talks about services which are directly in relation to immovable property. What does it mean? Kindly try and understand it. If the services are directly in relation with any immovable property, so in that case, place of supply shall be the place where the immovable property is located or intended to be located. How this provision will work? Kindly try and understand. Like in respect of architectural services, in respect of construction services, accommodation services, marriage, letting out, surveyor, these type of services are directly in relation to the immovable property. Like one hotel is being constructed in respect of which one architect has been hired. So in that case, if the architect is being hired to construct, to provide a service in respect of construction of any hotel, so in that case, this is called the service which is directly having relation with any immovable property. So this type of immovable property transaction, these type of services which have direct relation with the immovable property, or when we go and stay in a hotel, it is directly in relation with immovable property. So hotel room rent, if we talk about, it is covered under this particular case. Grant of right, like renting of property. So for example, I am from Delhi, and I am having one property in the Bengaluru, and that property has been let out. So in that case, place of supply shall be the state of Karnataka itself. It cannot be any other place, because the service is in relation with the immovable property. Similarly, marriages, letting out, surveyor, boat, vessel, lodging, club, ancillary services to the above. So these sort of services which have direct relation with any immovable property shall be the place of supply shall be the place of supply shall be the place where the immovable property is located. So kindly understand this particular concept. So in this case, the location of property, boat, vessel shall be the place of supply. So this is the reason why if you are registered in the state of Telangana and you go to the Mumbai and stay in a hotel Taj, so if you offer your GST registration there, but the hotel will charge CGST and SGST on that. Why it is so? Because the location of supplier is location of supplier is the state of Maharashtra, and the place of supply in respect of your room rent, although you are a registered person. So in this particular case, section 12 subsection 2 doesn't apply. In this case, section 12 subsection 3 will apply, because the services are directly related with the immovable property. So in that case, section 12 subsection 3 will apply. In this particular section says the place of supply shall be the place where the immovable property is located. So immovable property is located in the state of Maharashtra, and the location of supply is again in state of Maharashtra. Both are in the same state. Hence, this transaction would be chargeable as CGST or SGST. So this is how this particular transaction will work. So this is section 12 subsection 3. In this particular case, renting, room rent, letting out, granting of right, architectural services, surveyor services, boat, vessel, all these provisions will come under this particular clause, section 12 subsection 3. Moving ahead, uh, in respect of restaurant catering, personal grooming, fitness, beauty treatment, health services, including cosmetic and plastic surgery. So these type of 5 surgeries are there. This is the bunch of services under section 12 subsection 4. So these are the 4 services in respect of which the place of supply shall be the place where the services are actually performed. Say for example, there is one actress residing in Mumbai, comes for for plastic surgery to Delhi, and the surgeon came from Bangalore. Fine. Now, in this particular case, the actress residing in the state of Maharashtra, Mumbai, she came to Delhi for a surgery. For that surgery, the surgeon came from Bangalore, and the surgery has been performed in the state of Delhi itself. Now, in this particular scenario, what shall be the place of supply? In this case, the place of supply shall be the place where the surgery is actually performed. The place of supply would never be the Maharashtra or Karnataka. It would always be the place where the services are actually performed. So restaurant and catering, personal grooming, fitness, beauty treatment, or health services, including cosmetic and plastic surgery, it would be taxable. The place of supply shall be the place where the services are actually performed. So this is the case, section 12, subsection 4. So just moving ahead, section 12, subsection 5 talks about supply of services of training and performance appraisal. See, some of the big corporates hire the agencies for training and performance appraisal of their employees. So these type of services are being given by one agency to the company. So in that case, what shall be the place of supply? So in that case, section 12 subsection 5 says, if the recipient is registered, see, if the recipient is registered, so in that case, location of recipient, kindly understand this particular scenario by way of an example. There is a company belonging to Bengaluru, Karnataka. The company is registered company. They have hired one agency from Mumbai for performance appraisal of their employees. And they have taken all the employees for performance appraisal or for some sort of training to the Goa. So the company belongs to Bengaluru. The agency which has been hired for training and performance appraisal is from Mumbai, and that agency has taken all the employees to the Goa for training and performance appraisal. So in this particular case, there could be two scenarios. If that Bengaluru company, if that recipient is registered, so in that case, place of supply shall be the place where the registered person is, where the recipient is registered. So if that Bengaluru company is registered under GST law, so in that case, the place of supply shall be Bengaluru itself. But somehow if that company is not registered, or say for example, it is a government department which doesn't provide any outward supply, one state government department, state PWD department, we can say, of Karnataka, which is not having any sort of outward supplies, uh, they want to get the training or the performance appraisal of their employees done, and they have hired a company from Mumbai, and they have taken all the employees to the Goa. So in that case, what shall be the place of supply? The place of supply shall be the actual performance if the recipient is not registered. If the recipient who is from Karnataka is not registered, so in that case, wherever the services are being performed, since all the employees are being taken to the Goa, so in that case, the place of supply shall become the state of Goa, and the entire tax will go to the state of Goa. So this is the concept of section 12 subsection 5. Now let's move to section 12 subsection 6. Section 12 subsection 6 talks about supply of services for admission to. See, kindly understand subsection 6 and subsection 7 very carefully. There is a very thin line of difference. Section 12 subsection 6 and 12 subsection 7. These are two sections which we are going to discuss now. Section 12 subsection 6 talks about admission to any event, and section 12 subsection 7 talks about supply of event organizing services. So kindly understand, we are going to discuss right now is section 12 subsection 6, that is supply of services for admission to any cultural and artistic, sporting, scientific and educational, entertainment event, amusement park, or services ancillary to above. Like we can have an example, like when IFA award is being taking place, or one IPL tournament, the BCCI is organizing that sporting event, or any sort of event is being taking place, and any admission fees is being charged, the tickets are being sold. So whatever that tickets are being sold, what shall be the place of supply in that particular case? So the place of supply in respect of those tickets, the admission fees charged for that particular event would be the venue of that event or venue of that park. Like BCCI organizes that particular event, and that event took place in all the states of the country. So in that case, what shall be the place of supply for each and every cricket match? That the place of supply shall be the location of that venue. So wherever that event is taking place, for each and every match, the place of supply will differ. So that is section 12 subsection 6. That is admission to any cultural, artistic, sporting, scientific, educational, and so on. So this is there. Now we are going to discuss section 12 subsection 7. Section 12 subsection 7 talks about organizing cultural, art, sport, educational, scientific, entertainment, conference, fair, exhibition, or similar event. So in that case, what is going to happen? Section 12 subsection 7 talks about the organizing these type of events or any similar activity. So say for example, for organizing one big corporate event, say for example, there is a company located in the state of Karnataka want to organize its annual function, and they have hired an agency from Mumbai. So in that particular case, the event organizer has been hired from the state of Maharashtra, Mumbai. So in that case, what will happen? The registered recipient, if the recipient is registered, so in that case, location of recipient, no doubt. The Bengaluru company has hired one event organizer from Mumbai. If the Bengaluru company is registered person, there is no question that the location of the recipient address would be the place of supply. That means the place of supply shall be the state of Karnataka. There is no question where the event is taking place. So there is nothing like that. Second, if the Bengaluru company is not registered, or we can have an example of like Karnataka Tourism. Karnataka Tourism is organizing that particular event. So in that case also, if they are not registered, say for example, so venue of that event, wherever that event is taking place, that shall be the place of supply. But if the event is taking place outside India, then the location of recipient shall be the place. Say for example, one Bengaluru company has hired the event organizer located in the state of Maharashtra for organizing an event in the London outside India. The event is taking place outside India. So in that case, since the event is taking place outside India, so in that case, section 12 subsection 7 says that in this particular case, the place of supply shall be the location of recipient. Location of recipient means where the location is where the recipient is located, that is in the state of Karnataka. So since the Karnataka is there, so in that case, the tax would be given to the state of Karnataka. So this is section 12 subsection 7. Now moving ahead with section 12 subsection 8, moving ahead with section 12 subsection 9 and 10. Now, transportation of goods, including by mail or courier. So in that case, if the goods are being transported, see, you must be understand, you must have to understand that in respect of transportation of goods, the tax is to be paid by the recipient and the reverse charge mechanism. So in that case, if I am the person, I am the factory owner located in the state of Telangana, I am purchasing certain goods from the state of Maharashtra, and I have hired one transporter. So for the transportation services, I'm liable to pay certain amount to the transporter. Now, when I am liable to pay certain amount to my transporter, how the transaction will take place? I have paid 1 lakh rupees to the transporter for transportation of goods from the state of Maharashtra to the state of Telangana. Now, in this particular case, being recipient, I am liable to pay the tax. In this particular transaction, the transporter is the provider of services and I am the recipient of the transportation services. Section 9 subsection 3 says that on this particular transaction, the recipient is liable to pay the tax. So yes, I am liable to pay the tax. So when I am paying 1 lakh rupees to the transporter, the transaction is over. But on this particular case, when I go to the section 9 subsection 3, I need to discharge my liability under reverse charge mechanism. So question comes to me that what tax I need to pay right now. Should I pay CGST, SGST on it, or should I pay IGST on it? So in this particular case, section 12 subsection 8 would help you. So what this particular section says, if the recipient is registered, so yes, in this particular example, I am the registered person. So in that case, location of recipient shall be the place of supply. So in that case, I am registered in the state of Telangana. So my location of recipient would become, the place of supply would become the state of Telangana. And now I have to see where the location of supplier is. If the transporter belongs to the state of Telangana, yes, I'll pay CGST and SGST. But if the transporter belongs to state of Maharashtra, I need to pay IGST on this particular transaction. So kindly try and understand this transaction very carefully, because in this particular case, in respect of transportation of goods, the recipient is liable to discharge its tax liability. So when you go to discharge your tax liability, whether you have to pay CGST or SGST, or whether you have to pay IGST, this point you need to understand very carefully. So in this particular case, the location of recipient shall be the place place of supply. So in this case, location of recipient shall be the place of supply, and you have to see the location of supplier as well to determine whether it is a CGST, SGST transaction or whether it is a IGST transaction. So if the location of supplier is in the state of where you are located, so in that case it is CGST, SGST, otherwise it is IGST transaction. If the recipient is unregistered person, if recipient is not registered, so in that case, location where the goods are handed over for transportation. In some of the cases, if the recipient is not registered or is not liable to register, so in that case, sometimes the transporter is also required to pay the tax. Or there is an option under the GST law that the transporter can pay tax at the rate 12% to free its recipient to discharge tax under RCM mechanism. So in that case, if the recipient is not registered, so in that case, place of supply shall be the location where the goods are handed over for transportation. Say, for example, in this particular case, I am located in the state of Telangana. I am transporting goods from the state of Maharashtra to Telangana, and I am not the registered person. So in that case, what shall be the place of supply? So in that case, place of supply shall be the place where the goods are handed over for transportation. So if the goods are handed over for transportation in the state of Maharashtra itself, so in that case, place of supply would be the state of Maharashtra. So in that case, you need to determine where the location of supplier is. If the location of supplier is in the state of Maharashtra, this transaction would be chargeable as CGST or SGST. Otherwise, the transaction would be chargeable as IGST. So this is section 12, subsection 8, that is transportation of goods by mail or courier. Now, coming to section 12, subsection 9, that is passenger transportation service. What this passenger transportation service says, that is in respect of goods, we have talked about under section 12, subsection 8, and now we are talking of section 12, subsection 9. So passenger transportation like train, the railway journey is also chargeable to GST, flights are chargeable to GST. So in that case, how the place of supply will be determined? So let us try and understand this particular case. Train, buses, and airlines would be covered here. So the registered recipient, if the recipient is registered, the place of registered recipient shall be the place of supply. So for example, I am going from Delhi to Mumbai and I am registered in the state of Telangana. I have to catch one train from Delhi to Mumbai, and I am booking that railway ticket, but I am registered in the state of Telangana. So regardless from where I am catching my train and wherever I am going, if I am registered in the state of Telangana, the place of supply would always be the place where I am registered, if I am a registered person. If the recipient is registered, so in that case, the place of supply would always be the place where the registered person, where the recipient is registered. However, in respect of unregistered recipient, if you are not a registered person, then yes, place where the passenger embarks on the conveyance for a continuous journey. So in that particular case, if I am catching one train from Delhi to Mumbai, and if I am not a registered person, so in that case, the place of supply shall be the state of Delhi. That means the place from where I embarks my journey for a continuous journey. So in that particular case, you need to understand, if in case of passenger transportation services, whatever may be the case, like if I'm a registered person, so in that case, the place where I am registered would be the place of supply. However, in respect, if I am not a registered person, so the place from where I embarks my journey would become the place of supply in this particular case. Now, coming to the services on board, like in the last segment in section 10, subsection 1, clause E, we have discussed the goods on board, supply of goods on board. In respect of supply of goods on board, we have determined the place of supply with respect to the provision of section 10, subsection 1, clause E. Now, services on board, if say for example, I have consumed certain services, I have taken certain services on board while traveling from Delhi to Mumbai, maybe in train or maybe in flight. So in that case, what shall be the place of supply in respect of those services? Because see, in respect of goods, you can say that goods are boarded from so and so location because the goods are having physical existence. But in case of services, the physical existence is not there. So since physical existence is not there, so in that case, the place of supply has to be determined very, very carefully. So section 12, subsection 10 gives provision in respect of that. So what section 12, subsection 10 says? It says first scheduled point of departure of that conveyance for that journey. Meaning thereby, there is a train starting from Chennai station, and first it moved to the Mumbai and then Delhi and then Amritsar. So these are 4 stations from which the journey has to be performed. So there is one pantry car in that, and that pantry is providing some catering services or some restaurant services to me during my journey. So the scheduled departure point of that conveyance would be the place of supply. So first scheduled departure point of that particular conveyance is Chennai. So if I have boarded in a train from Delhi to Amritsar, and during that journey from Delhi to Amritsar, I have consumed certain services, I have taken certain services, then also the place of supply shall be the state of Tamil Nadu. The place of supply shall be the Chennai, because section 12 subsection 10 says, in respect of services, the first scheduled departure point of that conveyance shall be the place of supply. So this is very much clear. In respect of services on board, the place of supply shall be the first scheduled departure point of that particular conveyance. So this is how it will work. So section 12 subsection 10 is like this. Let's move to section 12 subsection 11. Section 12 subsection 11 talks about telecommunication services. Telecommunication services, mobile phones, internet connection and all we are talking about. First thing is that if the telephone connection or the broadband line is installed in a particular case, the wired connection is there, which involves the physical installation of that particular device. So in that case, the location where the line or device is installed. So I don't think there is any confusion in this particular scene. Then in respect of postpaid mobile connection or telecommunication line or internet service, which is not having any wired connection, it is wireless connection we are talking of. But if it is postpaid, so in that case there must be some address on which the bill is coming. So in that case, location of billing address of the recipient on record. So if it is a postpaid connection, yes, the billing address shall be the place of supply. Now come to the prepaid mobile connection of telecommunication or internet services. So in that case, in case of prepaid mobile connection, what will happen? You can recharge your mobile through internet only. So in that case, location of recipient on record. See, whenever you go and want to purchase any SIM, you have to give your address. So whatever address is there with the telecommunication company, that shall become the place of supply. Through the selling agent, if you go to someone and say that please recharge my mobile phone, so in that case, location of that selling agent would become the place of supply. Through others, the location where the prepayment received or voucher is shown. So these are some provisions related to telecommunication line. So not very frequently used provision. It is applicable to very limited sort of clients in India. Limited 5-6 companies are there which are dealing in this telecommunication activities. So in that case, it will be applicable to them. Moving ahead with section 12, subsection 12, 13 and 14. Section 12, subsection 12 talks about banking and other financial services, including stockbroking. So section 12, subsection 12 talks about banks and the stockbroking services. So in this particular case, the location of supplier, the place of supply shall always be the location of recipient in the supplier's record. That means whatever address is there with the bank, that shall be my place of supply. So for example, I'm from the state of Delhi and I am having one bank account in a branch of Mumbai, State Bank of India, Nariman Point branch. I am having one bank account, and whatever bank charges is being levied, on which what tax they will charge on me, they will charge IGST or they will charge CGST or SGST. So answer to this question would come that what address they have in their record. If in their record my address belongs to Delhi, so in that case, whatever bank charges, say for example, 100 rupees they have charged on my savings account, they will charge IGST on it, because the location of supplier is in the state of Maharashtra and the location of recipient, that is me, is in the state of Delhi. So in that case, whatever address they have, according to that address, they will charge the tax, may it be CGST, SGST, or may it be IGST. This is section 12, subsection 2. Similar is the case with the stockbroking also. So if I am having demat account with someone, so in that case, the same concept will apply there. Now, in respect of insurance services, again, insurance service may it be general insurance or life insurance. So in respect of insurance service, what will happen? So if the recipient is registered, so in that case, what is going to happen? So location of recipient. So say for example, there is a big company of Bengaluru getting its insurance done from the Mumbai head office of the National Insurance Company Limited. So in that case, if the Mumbai head office is directly providing insurance services to the company located in Bengaluru, and if that company is registered company, so in that case, the place of supply shall always be Bengaluru, the state of Karnataka, and that on this particular transaction, the IGST has to be charged. And if that person is unregistered recipient, so location of recipient in the supplier's record. And one thing is very obvious, that if the general insurance is taking place, so in that case there would be one address. There is no case that the address won't be there in case of insurance services. So if the recipient is unregistered, then the location of recipient in the supplier's record shall be the place of supply. Now let's come to advertisement services to the government, etc. So section 12 subsection 14 talks about the advertisement services. You might have seen that in some of the cases, like big companies give their advertisement on national television, or sometimes we have seen that the advertisement are affixed on the railway coaches, or there are different ways to advertise itself. So in that case, it's a big matter, and in respect of which this notification has come in respect of advertisement. So there are different sort of provisions. Let me just take one or two examples, and rest is this notification. So you can read out this notification. It's very simple and self-explanatory. Let me just give one example. Like in respect of railway coaches, sometimes we have seen that on railway coaches there is an advertisement of Life Insurance Corporation of India. So in that case, these trains runs from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, the entire country they cover. So in that case, what shall be the place of supply in respect of these advertisement services being provided by the railways to Life Insurance Corporation or any other recipient whatsoever? So in that case, what shall be the place of supply? So this notification says, in respect of trains itself, you have to find out the total journey in kilometer of that particular train. So for example, the train is starting from Chennai to Jammu, Jammu, Jammu in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. So in that case, if you find out that the train will travel around 1,000 kilometers, so you have to break that particular journey into state terms. Like you have to see that how much kilometer has been covered by the state of Tamil Nadu, how much travel has been done in the state of Maharashtra, and so on and so forth. And the whatever revenue has come, it has to be divided into the proportion of the kilometer covered by each and every state, and the tax would be collected, tax would be divided amongst all the states, and the invoices are to be raised in such a way that the place of supply in respect of each state should have a different tax invoice. So this is how this particular notification defines the particular case, that how the transaction has to be taken care of. So this is section notification number 12 oblique 2017, dated 15 November 2017. So I'm not going by each and every provision of this particular notification. I'm just leaving it to you. So these are certain pictorial examples, so not going into that. Now we are going to discuss the suppliers and the recipient outside India. So more or less it is equal to provision of section 12. So I think we are moving short of time since it is 7:15, and we have to go for some open session as well. So I now rest my voice here, and I'll just go to that open session, and will try to answer your queries right now. And section 13, I don't think it is that much relevant, although whatever I need to discuss, I have discussed in section 12 itself. So let's go by the queries, and I'm trying to answer all those queries one by one. Fine. There is one question regarding online medical consultancy. So in respect of online medical consultancy, you need to find out whether it is covered under the definition of healthcare service. If it is healthcare service, it is exempted. Nothing doing. It is not taxable. But yes, if you are doing some sort of taxable activity in that, so in that case, online medical activity, generic rule will apply. If you are providing services to the recipient person, so in that case, the location of recipient shall be the place of supply, or if it is unregistered person, so location of supply shall be the place of supply. Another question is from Mr. Shiva. He asked, is there a concept of high C sales in the GST Act? Yes, there is a concept of high C sale. So recently they have made an amendment in Schedule 3, and Schedule 3 of CGST Act talks about the transaction, the activities which does not covers the which is the activity which are not considered to be supply. So high C sale is not considered to be supply under the GST law, hence it is not chargeable to any sort of GST. Another question is from Mr. Pavan. In case we imported goods to Hyderabad airport and it is meant for consumption at Vijayawada, how it can be dealt? Fine. So in this particular case, from where it is meant to be consumed, it doesn't matter. The location of recipient, location of importer shall be the place of supply in this particular case. So the tax will be given to the state of Telangana itself, because it is imported to the Hyderabad. Next is not
Yeah,
clear.
hello.
Can we have
Hello,
hello?
Navneet.
Yes.
Yeah, Pawan this side. Just
Yeah.
I want one more query here.
Yeah.
See, when I'm importing these goods to Hyderabad airport,
Yeah.
so I have to pay the IGST Telangana compulsorily, correct?
IGST you have to give, and
I have
that
to
revenue
pay.
distribution will be done by the government itself. In respect of IGST, you need not
Yeah,
to,
hello.
give the name of a state.
So IGST I'm clearing it, but actually I need that the bill of entry is clearly stating the goods are further going to Vijayawada, that is Andhra Pradesh state.
Fine, fine.
So when the goods are moving from Hyderabad airport to the Vijayawada,
Yeah.
again I have to bill because there is again interstate transaction is happening. The movement of the goods is happening, correct?
Fine. Hello.
Then how this movement will take
Yes,
place?
yes, yes. Fine. Fine. Kindly try and understand this particular situation. There are two activities in this particular case. One is clearance of goods from custom station, and second is movement of goods from that custom station to your desired designation. So
Yes.
in this particular case, when you are clearing that goods, when you are filing your bill of entry for custom clearance, for bill of entry for home consumption, the tax would be levied would be IGST, and it would belongs to the state of Telangana itself. Once you
But
have,
if I move the goods to Vijayawada, then
yes, yes,
again it is
I'm
the
coming to
problem.
that question. Now, once you have cleared all these goods from customs, and now you are moving goods from the Hyderabad to the Telangana. Now, how that movement is to be done? That is your question right now.
Yes, yes.
Correct. So in that case, what you will be doing, that you have imported goods and you have done all the custom formalities in the state of Telangana. Now you are moving your goods from Hyderabad to the
State of Andhra
Vijayawada.
Pradesh.
So in that case, what is going to happen? There is two scenarios in this particular case. One is you are registered in the state of Telangana, Hyderabad, or you have used that particular airport facility just to import the goods. So I'm considering both the transactions. I'm considering both the scenarios. First scenario is that you are registered in the state of Hyderabad, and now you are sending goods to your one of the branch located in Vijayawada. So in that case, if you are registered, yes, you need to raise an invoice, and you need to send it along with e-way bill. Second, you are not registered in the state of Telangana, Hyderabad. You are not having any sort of establishment there, but just because it is nearby airport, you have imported goods there itself. So in that case, you can move the goods through delivery challan from the state of Hyderabad, from the state of Telangana to the state of Andhra Pradesh, on the basis of delivery challan. No invoice is required in this particular case.
So in the first case, you're telling if I'm registered in both the state,
yes,
in that case, I have to do a internal billing, correct?
Yes, yes.
So I will be paying tax in Telangana.
Yes.
And for which I cannot take input, correct?
No. Since it is IGST, you can take input. Since it is IGST, if this would have been CGST or SGST, you could not be able to avail the ITC. But in this case, you can avail the IGST, ITC credit of IGST.
But IGST means if I have any other means if I have a purchases from IGST, then I will be able to settle it.
No. See, you are not registered in the state of Telangana, Hyderabad. You are not registered.
No, I am registered. I am registered in Telangana also and AP also, both.
Fine. Now,
so when you are telling to do the internal billing, and then I have to pay the IGST in Telangana, and my goods will move directly from the airport.
Yes.
It will go to my branch. So the AP IGST means in the AP it will be becoming an input credit for them.
Yes, definitely. And kindly understand it. Let me just take one example. Say for
Yeah.
example, the goods, the total value of the goods is 10 lakh rupees.
Yeah.
For custom clearance, you have paid 18% tax, that is 1,80,000 IGST for at the time of custom clearance. Now you are billing from Telangana to Andhra Pradesh.
Yeah.
Telangana to Andhra Pradesh, when the goods are being moved, you are raising one invoice, and say for example, you are raising invoice for the same value because
Yeah. Yeah.
it is internal billing. So
Yeah.
again, you will raise an invoice of rupees 10 lakhs on which you will charge 1,80,000 IGST on outward supplies.
Yes.
So for the state of Telangana, what will happen? There is an outward supply of rupees 10 lakhs on which 1,80,000 is the tax liability. At the same time, there is an input tax rate of IGST in the state of Telangana, which you can use to set off this tax liability of 1,80,000. So transaction is nullified. Now the goods will reach to your another branch that is in the state of Andhra Pradesh, and at that particular point of time, you have an invoice of your branch of rupees 10 lakhs, which is showing the IGST of rupees 1,80,000, and that 1,80,000 ITC would be eligible to your Andhra Pradesh registration, and
But
that you
in
can
that case,
use for discharging your CGST or SGST liability there, or IGST
okay,
liability.
from that IGST.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Okay. Okay. If I am not registered in Hyderabad, then I can do simply delivery challan.
Yes, 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 yes. No issue, no issue.
Okay. Okay.
Because
Thank you.
when you go and generate e-way bill, what
Yeah.
happens? There is a column, there is a point, radio button that is import. So if you choose that, then it is clear that you are importing goods and you are transporting your goods in the course of such importation.
So is it an option to me, or I can choose anything? Though I am
No, no,
registered
no.
also, I can
You should go for import only in that case.
Okay. So means though I am registered in Hyderabad also, but I can choose to as an import. I can choose.
No, if you are registered, see, in this particular case, the question is who is importing the goods. If you are having
Okay.
registration in both the state, so whether Hyderabad registration is importing the goods, or whether the Vijayawada registration is importing the goods.
Vijayawada registration importing the goods
So in that case, Hyderabad registration will not come into the picture.
will not come into the picture.
See,
Okay. Okay.
it is like that only.
Thank you. Thank
Fine.
you.
Okay. Now the next question: can we have more example for last subclause? I'm not clear which subclause you are asking for. So if you are listening to me, kindly ask it verbally. Fine. Again, moving. There is a question if HO order for one of the units situated in different unit. If HO order for one of the unit situated in
In different state, please read as different state.
Okay, different state. What will be the place of supply? See, in this particular case, may it be HO or branch, or may it be any other different person, may it be different person or may it be distinct person. In both the cases, the provision will equally apply. So if the HO is located in another state and the branch is located in the another state, so in that case, if the supply involves movement of goods, so in that case, where the delivery is being terminated, that shall be the place of supply, and the provision will apply as simple as that. For other transactions, HO and branch will not affect the any sort of provision.
No. Just I wanted to have one clarification. You said this third party concept that if it is on the
Bill
third
to ship to
party
transaction.
concept, bill to
Bill
ship.
to ship.
Will
Yes,
it, will
yes.
it not attract here? Because it's
So,
actually in
see,
Hyderabad and my
yeah.
branch in Delhi and goods is coming from Rajasthan.
Okay. So who is giving instruction to the supplier?
The HO is doing a central contract. Then the Rajasthan supplier is going to supply to my Delhi unit.
Okay. So in that case, the place of supply shall be the place from where the instruction is going to the supplier. So yes, in this case, that if it is bill to ship to transaction, then yes, it will affect the taxability of the transaction.
So in that case, means that the taxability will be in Hyderabad. Means it will
Yes,
be the
yes. Place of supply shall be Hyderabad.
this, though the third party is not a different pan. It's the same pan. Still.
Whatever it is. Whatever.
Okay. Okay.
Fine. Another question is, in Mr. Shiva, in case of salt or sand business, if we provide delivery services, although transportation is to be borne by the buyer, then can we charge IGST if the buyer and the seller are in different state? Yes, absolutely. So in that case, see, sometimes different arrangement takes place in case of these type of transaction. May it be salt, may it be sand, or may it be any other commodity. If you are selling only goods and the transportation is being arranged by your recipient, or transportation is to be borne by your recipient, nothing doing. If the delivery is being taking place to other states, so in that case, this transaction would be chargeable to IGST. Nothing doing with this. High C sale I have answered. Audio issue, difference between works contract. Fine. There is one question regarding what is the difference between the works contract and the mixed supply. See, sir, works contract is a defined word under the GST law. Section 2, subsection 119 defines the word works contract. So in respect of works contract means all sort of construction, alteration, repairs, renovation, and some sort of these type of work which involve supply of goods and supply of service. This would be considered as supply of works contract. And mixed supply is a different concept. So let me just explain you this concept of section 8, mixed supply and the composite supply. See, mixed supply means what? Where there are two or more supply in conjunction with each other, and none of the supplies having the nature of principal supply. So this supply is considered to be a mixed supply. Say for example, one very famous example is always given, like in respect of any bunch sort of thing on festive seasons. What happens? There is a combined bunch in which the dry fruits, biscuits, cold drinks, and different other articles are put together, and they are sold in bunch. So in this particular case, these type of transactions are considered to be a mixed supply transaction. Mixed supply transaction means wherever two or more supplies are there in conjunction with each other, and none of the supply can be said to be a principal supply. So in this particular case, the provisions they have made, that this is called mixed supply. Mixed supply means uh, uh, you cannot say that in the entire bunch it is a supply of cold drink, or it is a supply of biscuits, it is a supply of dry fruits. No, you cannot determine it. So all the supplies are different nature, and none of the supply is principal supply. So in that case, this type of supply is considered to be mixed supply, and the tax is leviable on these mixed supply is at higher rate. Higher rate means whatever the in the, say for example, in that bunch 10 commodities are put together, so the tax would be levied on entire 10 commodities at the rate at which the highest tax rate is applicable. So for example, in that particular bunch, cold drink bottle is put in. The cold drink bottle is taxable at the rate 40%, that is 28% GST, and 12% is compensation cess. So in that case, the entire bunch would be taxable at the rate 40%. So this is how the mixed supply would work. And works contract is a different thing. Works contract is in relation to any involved property, construction, repairs, renovation of any sort of things in which goods and material are involved. So kindly refer to section 2, subsection 119 of the CGST Act, where the works contract word has been defined. And this mixed supply is concerned, the section 8 is there. So that provision is there. Now, another question is from Mr. Hiren. My question is, just a minute. If a registered assessee is paying output GST properly to the government, showing revenue in the GST return, but the assessee doesn't have any document. Registered assessee is paying output GST properly to government and showing revenue in the GST return, but the assessee doesn't have any document, invoice, debit note maintained for it. What is the implication for the situation under GST Act? Any penalty for it? Yes, absolutely. Section 31 of the CGST Act requires you to maintain all the tax invoices, and the second copy has to be maintained with you. If you do not maintain such sort of documentation, or in Rule 56 is also there, CGST rules, Rule 56 also requires you to maintain all the records of your supplies, may it be inward, may it be outwards. So if you do not maintain all these, the provisions are there, section 122, and under section 122, the penalty provisions are there. You need to pay the penalty as per these provisions. So you have to have all the tax invoices and all. If you are not paying all these things, then yes, you will end up in a big trouble. Another question is from Mr. Venkat. He has asked HO services to the branches. Yes, if the HO and branch are in different states, so they are distinct person, and there will be the transaction between head office and branch would be taxable as if the transaction is taking place between two different persons. Next is what is the difference between works contract that I have answered. Courier services to out of country charged IGST, but the supplier and vendor belongs to Mumbai, we can claim input tax. Courier service to out of country charged IGST. Supplier and vendor both belong to Mumbai. The question is not very much clear. Mr. Krishna Kumar, if you are listening me. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Yeah. See, we are raising the bill from Mumbai and we are sending the courier to Singapore.
Sorry, your voice is not very much clear. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah. Please tell.
Yeah. See, we have one courier vendor. We are sending courier from Mumbai to Singapore.
Fine.
Okay. But he has raised the bill in the name of IGST.
Okay.
So we have registered vendor in Mumbai also, so we can clear. But he has given Mumbai as a vendor is Mumbai only, Mumbai to Mumbai only. But he raised for a particular transaction IGST given the tax amount. For that, we can claim the input tax credit.
Yes, definitely. You are eligible to claim ITC on it. No issue.
Because he is the Mumbai vendor. It's
yes. No issue. You can claim ITC.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Another question is selling of flight ticket from Bangalore office to the office located in Singapore, who in turn sell to the customer. So place of supply is being asked. See, there are two different things. One is passenger transportation services, and second is the commission agent services, like travel agent services, we can say. So in this particular case, what I could understand from your question is selling of flight tickets from Bangalore office to the office located in Singapore, who in turn sell to the customer. So probably your question belongs to the travel agent sort of services rather than the passenger transportation services. So if it is not a passenger transportation service, so in that case, you need to determine your place of supply through provision of 12 subsection 2 only. Yes, it is a travel agent. Fine. So in that case, 12 subsection 2 would be the actual section through which you need to determine your place of supply. So in that case, selling of flight tickets from Bangalore office to the office located in Singapore. So in this particular case, what is going to happen if the Bangalore office is selling providing certain services to outside India? So in this particular case, it is exportation of service. So if it satisfy all the condition laid down for exportation of service, so it would be considered as export of service and no tax would be leviable. It would be considered as zero rated supply in this particular case. Fine. Moving to next question. So next, I don't think there is any question. So I think all the questions which are there in my chat box, I have answered. If someone is having more questions, they can ask me verbally or they can put their question in chat box itself. Do we have any other question, please? Fine. If there are no more questions, so can we call off this meeting? So thank you so much for listening me very patiently. Thank you so much. And at a later point of time, we will meet. Thank you so much. Fine. I'm calling off the meeting.